Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, so our card tonight is the Eight of Discs, which has everything to do with prudence. Okay, and let's take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. Okay, so it looks like we kind of have a bear spirit right off the jump here. And before I get into that, let's do my little note first, is that if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And I also just want to say thank you so much for putting up with my sick voice. I know it just keeps going and going and going. So hoping for a return to a normal sounding speaking voice here pretty soon. All right, so we have this bear, and you can see the kind of the nose, the snoot right there. We also have the head and the body. Okay, and let's see if we can get this light over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so it looks like there's a cat standing on its back right here. You can see the head and the body. And that's what a cat would do, right? It would just kind of hang out right on top of that bear. So when we have the cat, we have the energy of being very individual, kind of doing what you want, right? Living how you see fit. You are not bothered by the opinion of others. You don't really care what they think you should be doing or should not be doing. You live by your own will. You listen to your heart. You listen to your soul. You are freely swimming in your emotions, and you are somebody who lives very authentically. With the bear, we do have great passion, right? A sense of curiosity, and with the cat, right? Curiosity as well. Exploration. But I think what stands out to me is this idea of a heart aflame, a burning passion, not stopping because of roadblocks. When you want something, you will put your mind to it. You will figure it out. And so, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about the card. We have that disc, pentacle, coin energy. And so this leads me to believe that this is in the realm of making money, making resources, getting your household, your budget, your livelihood kind of squared away, getting things where you want them to be. I think that in this time in your life, there is this real draw to do work that allows you to be yourself, be who you are. I think that maybe you have worked maybe in the corporate world, maybe you've worked in things like sales or customer service or some kind of service job. And though I think you probably would do really well, you are a Taurus after all. You're good at most things that you do. especially when it has to do with interacting with other people. But I do think that the constraints of having to kind of conform to the environment, to the rules, and the, you know, all of the prescribed kind of what's the word? The what are those things called? The scripts that we kind of have to do when we're working in these kinds of jobs, and all of the things that kind of surround, you know, that kind of work. Any of those many kinds of work. I mean, it's really so many directions to go with that. But I feel like at this point in your life, you want to do something that you really care about. You want to do something that makes you feel like you're doing something meaningful. You are spending your time wisely. You know, it's not something that you lament every single day. You get to interact with people who kind of speak your language, and and I mean, speak your language in that they understand you as a being, right? You are on the same wavelength, at least kind of in the same realm, right? And you don't feel kind of like so alienated from everything that's going on around you, because you are interacting and around people who are in the know. They are people who are awakened. You are around people who are working on healing themselves, on raising their vibration, and you know, and I also think this comes to mind as I'm saying it. Somebody who is interested in helping the community, helping the family, you know, really putting in the work to help lift up other people. So I could see you doing something like within, like, not some kind of nonprofit or spiritual work of some kind, healing work. Maybe you are maybe you do divination, or, you know, you read, or you're a like a life coach, or, you know, something like this. And if you do, and you have services to offer, or a channel that you would like to plug, go over to my community post section, and there's a post up there where you can link your channel. And you know, if you're interested in that, please go do it. There are a lot of people who come through and look at these posts. And also, shout out to my husband, Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. You can go to his channel. He has the same post up. Put your information on his post as well. He has a lot of subscribers over there. So even more eyes to see, because, you know, we both want to support the work you're doing because you support ours. But also, we just like to support the community, right? And so, you know, I do feel like this is a place where you're just not having it anymore. You need to do something that feels worthwhile to you. And I think that you've really made strides towards rearranging your life in this way, and maybe have even made sacrifices to do so, you know, especially if you're like starting your own business, or excuse me, building up clientele, or whatever it is. You know, that's a lot of work, and it can be slow to build up. But do not lose heart, because I see with that bear energy, with that cat energy, you are really going to get some traction. It's going to take hold for you. And I can see you, you know, just really doing something absolutely fabulous within the work that you are focused on. Okay, so let's take a look here. So, we have a phoenix. It's like a phoenix and a butterfly. I see it, the phoenix up here, and the butterfly kind of down here. Both beautiful images of rising up from the ashes and metamorphosis, right? Changing into, evolving as a being. And I do feel that this really coincides with the first part of the reading, in that I feel like you've just gotten to this place in your life where it's hard to imagine continuing on doing things that don't align with your heart, with your soul, right? You know, when you're just kind of going through the motions, you know, when you're on autopilot, you've maybe, if you're like me or like many people, you've probably lost years of your life just kind of pushing through, just going through the motions, just trying to get done with the day so you can go and relax for a little bit, right? And wake up again and do it again. And I think that really at this point in your life, it just, you are really, really focused on figuring out how to get out of that grind. Now, that's not to say that you won't work hard on whatever it is you kind of transition into. I think you're a very hard worker. I mean, you are a Taurus after all. But I think that you want to do something with your life that you've been dreaming of. You want to do something with your life that you can be proud of. You want to do something with your life that makes sense to you on some level. I don't know about you, but there have been plenty of times in my life when I was working, you know, one job or another, and I would get to a point where I just would think, like, what is this particular work that I'm doing even mean, right? What does this even mean to me or to anybody else, really? You know, hopefully I'm helping somebody somewhere. Hopefully I am, you know, making some kind of connection with somebody on some level. But ultimately, I don't know what I'm doing here. I absolutely don't know. And that can be a really bewildering feeling, you know, just kind of feeling lost in your own life. You know, you know how to do a lot of things and you're good at doing them, but they lose their sense of meaningfulness, you know, and maybe it really wasn't there in the first place, right? So I feel like it's like a veil lifted, and going into this place where it's like, I have to figure this out. I have to rise out of this place that I found myself in. Excuse me. Maybe it's not a terrible place, and maybe, you know, you pretty much have most of the things that you want and need, but it just isn't clicking. And I think that, you know, and listen, I'm a pretty pragmatic person. I would even say that I worry. I don't like to make changes unless there's some kind of certainty in life about what I'm doing. At least my perception of certainty. But, you know, sometimes we have to take a leap of faith, right? And I think that you have really made that decision. And I think that it will do you well. I see that we have a J, O, and Y. Excuse me, my goodness. So we have joy, okay? And I feel like by you following your heart, by you really showing up for yourself and listening, Okay, so I had a cough attack there, obviously, and I'm doing okay. So I apologize. Yes, so let's keep going, because I really feel like, this has been like a building up of, and we had the joy, right? So I feel like this has been building up. You have been working so hard to move through different situations in your life. And I'm looking at this one. I'm trying to figure out what that says there. There's a person standing here with their arm up, and I feel like it's C-A. C-A something. It almost looks like C-A-O. C-A-O. C-A-O maybe. I don't know what that is. But maybe you do. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what that is at all. But then in the comments, there are a lot of people that are like, hey, I know what that means. Or, those are my initials, or what have you. So it's not, I don't always know what they're trying to tell me, but it's here and I see it. Now let's see. We have a 2. We have a 2 and an 8. 2, 8, 28. We have this person reaching, and I see that we have, it looks like a turtle right here, kind of on top of a rock. We have maybe a child right here. Maybe it's C-R-O. I don't know why I'm really concerned about figuring out what that is. So we have the child and the turtle. And then when we pull it out, it looks like the head and body. You can see maybe a necklace here, maybe some kind of bikini or some kind of, small top. And it looks like a mermaid. You can see kind of the beginning of the lower half right here. Okay, so I am getting this feeling of kind of a call to water. But I also feel this, maybe, I almost wonder if like you went to the ocean when you were a child, maybe you visited, or maybe you lived there. Maybe this was something that you did with your family as like a vacation or some kind of trip. But I do think this was a very meaningful time for you. And I can almost imagine you kind of wandering around, kind of looking into, excuse me, looking in tide pools and kind of, going through the dunes and in those little, like the inlet areas where the water is moving, but it's, pretty shallow, and it's where they start to go into the rivers, right? And become rivers and move forward inland. And these are places that have kind of their own interesting, little environments and just very beautiful to walk along and kind of peer into the waters and see what there is to see. So I feel like there is a sense of you really being drawn to the ocean. And my goodness, I apologize for all the coughing. I thought I was good. I had all my tea and everything else. But it seems like with that mermaid, I almost feel like there's, it's like a beloved memory, but I feel like there's something kind of bittersweet. And maybe it is that you used to go with your family and now those times have kind of, they've changed as you've gotten older. Maybe even the place that you used to go is not, you know, it's not a place where you go visit anymore. They don't have tourists there, or, you know, it's changed. It's become very expensive, whatever it is. But it feels like this kind of unreachable place, right? Something almost kind of fantastical in your mind. A place that is nostalgia, right? It's very kind of wrapped in nostalgia. And I can almost imagine for some reason a lot of fog, right? And I feel like there's almost a sense of being in the fog of the memory, kind of walking through it, and it feels beloved, and it feels like ever so close, but still quite out of reach. Okay. And I kind of live for these kinds of memories for some reason. Like, I like the feeling. I like the feeling of kind of almost like an unrealized love, but it's not that. It's like an unobtainable thing. There's something, so it's profoundly poetic, right? And as we remember things from our youth into our, like, in our adulthood, we do have a sense of romanticizing, but also when you're young, you experience the world so much differently. You know, you can think of being on vacation with your family, and probably you didn't have a lot of responsibilities around that. But as you get older and you are the one that's kind of preparing these vacations and getting everything together, the whole thing it's very different, right? Feels quite different. So looking back on these places, it is kind of an invitation, I think. Oh my goodness. TT, don't bite me, please. Go on. Not while I'm coughing and I'm filming. So it is an invitation. It is a doorway into a place that is supple with emotionality. I mean, it is just thick with it. That's, I think, why I kind of feel this almost fog, walking through this fog of you know, just kind of a longing for a time past. And it is something that you can explore through kind of guided meditation or active imagination, you know, taking your time to walk through these places, feel them, examine the impressions that you have, and the the feelings that they bring up. I don't know what the heck. I'm drinking some fluids. It'll be all better. I don't know. I haven't been coughing that much today, so I'm of course when I start talking. So anyhow, yes, it is a place that you can go, a place to visit. It is a place to get lost in. I like to, before I go to sleep, as I am drifting off, call up these kinds of memories. You know, if they're real memories or imagined memories, or, you know, things that my mind is just kind of, you know, putting together on the spot. but to take a few moments before I go all the way to sleep to kind of find myself in these interior landscapes, to live in them for a moment, you know, and to kind of bask in them and you know, and find things within these landscapes that maybe give me some insights about myself, about the work that I'm doing, and perceptions of times gone that maybe I had not thought of, right? And so, and so, and so, yes, I think that when you are in a place of great sentimentality, when you are being transported, it is easy for us to get lost in where, you know, we miss people, we miss times, we lament the passage of our life and kind of the shedding that happens over time. But it's not gone. It's not gone. It's right there. It's right there. All you have to do is kind of close your eyes and knock on that door and go through, right? I know maybe you're thinking, this lady, she's something else. She doesn't, what is she talking about? But I do. I implore you to, I challenge you to take some time these next few weeks. Even if it's, you know, 5 minutes every day, every other day. And do some exercises. Pick a few memories that really stand out in your mind. Places that you wish that you could be, even just for a few moments. Close your eyes. Get into a place that is still. Into yourself. Go into yourself. And begin. And begin walking through that door as the door opens and you begin to see, you know, ever so slightly familiar images starting to show themselves to you, familiar voices and laughter and the smell of maybe like a shared family meal and your grandfather telling a story and, you know, whatever it is. And you walk through and you walk through and you find yourself where are you? You know, and what does it feel like? I know that you're aware that you are using your imagination, and that's okay. But you have to think of yourself as like a invisible time traveler, right? And you're there, and you're watching, and you're beginning to partake. You're beginning to interact. Look at the things around you. What do you see? What are the objects like? What are the colors like? You know, what does it feel like to sit next to somebody you haven't seen in 30 years? You know, what would they have to say to you? And I know it might seem silly or not worth your time, but I think that it's something that we can all at least give a little chance, right? Try it out. See what happens. You might be surprised. You really might be surprised. Okay, let's see. So I'm looking at this and I see why, and immediately I thought of Yaya, which is a name for grandmother. And we have roses, a rose above it. So I feel like maybe a grandmother who had a rose garden, or she had some kind of an affinity for roses possibly. And I can see a woman here standing with a stick, and maybe she had a walking stick, or she had some kind of, maybe in the garden, she had some kind of tool she walked around with quite a bit. But there's a sense of I love you, a sense of missing. But I see we have a heart that's upside down right here. We have a heart that's upright here. So immediately I think of this as above, so below. Grandmother who has transitioned, sharing her love with you, and you who is here, receiving that love and giving that love as well, meeting that love with equal energy, and it is mirrored, through all things. And this is a love that is unbreakable. And I think this is your person, or at least one of them. This is somebody that your soul is tied to. And I feel that you had a wonderful relationship. But even after her transitioning, she has always been with you. There's never been a day that you did not feel her. And I think that as you get older, you see yourself a lot, you see her in yourself a lot. Maybe even quite physically. You look in the mirror and you think, oh, I look more and more like my grandmother. But I think that you hear her, you feel her, you think of the things that she would say, and I feel like this is a person who is very loving and pretty funny, understanding and accepting, but also did not put up with too much guff, right? So I think just a wonderful grandmother in general here. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to go over here, and I want to thank you if you've made it through the staying reading with all of the coughing. I am very, very thankful, and I am very sorry. I shouldn't laugh because it's going to set it off again. But of course it waited. It waited till I had to do my readings. All right, so we have the lightness of being affirmation cards, and these are the earth element ones. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through and stop where it feels right. Okay, and these are so pretty. And it says, truth, trust. Your patience will bring delightful surprises. Never put yourself down. Never put yourself down. All right. Well, Taurus, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me, for putting up with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. Let's see. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. I'm trying to stay up on them. I've been pretty good about it. We are in the middle of a move, and I know it's been going on for a while, but we've been working on the new place, and you know how these things go. They're hectic. So, yes, I've been trying to spend as much time as I can doing them. So if I haven't gotten back to you, I haven't hearted the comment yet, I will. And I've probably already read the comment. I read them briefly. I go through them. I don't react to them immediately. But I do. I read them. I'm just that kind of person. I just got to read all the dang comments. So anyways, again, I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you. And we'll talk in just a few days. So please take care of yourself. Happy holidays. There's so many holidays going on. We have this eclipse coming up pretty soon here. We're getting through this full moon energy. It's almost to its end, I think. Maybe we're just coming out of it now as I record this. And yeah, we're almost on to another month here. It's coming close. It's getting here. And so I don't know where the time goes. All right. I love you. Good night. Good night. Good night.